This is not funny at all. This is not funny. This is getting out of hand. And I keep saying it that we as a people need to cry to the international community. We need to add our voices together to cry. Some people are busy arguing about Trump or the US being interested in the mineral resources and all that. Look at the story on the screen here. This woman, you're seeing her picture on the screen, is a civil servant who works with the Ministry of Defense in Lagos. She is a civil servant who works with the Ministry of Defense in Lagos. As we speak, her family do not know her whereabouts, if anything has happened to her, if she's still alive, or if they have unlived her. No news, no idea, no explanation, no communication. What happened will surprise you. What happened to this woman will leave you in tears, because I'm going to tell you how the federal government of Nigeria is a key player in this thing, this woman's tragedy. But we're still praying that God, in His infinite mercy, will bring her back home to her families. Now, what's the story behind this woman going missing? Okay, before I go into the story, I want to tell you that some time ago, I read on one of the I can't remember where I saw it, in one of the WhatsApp groups or somewhere on social media. I saw a write-up of people from union of civil servants. I saw a write-up where somebody actually wrote, they were pleading with the federal government to please make them do their promotional exam in their various regional centers. They have this, as a civil servant, if you're due for promotion, you're going to write some exams. Okay, now these exams, now they write it, it's a computer-based test, CBT. So people are meant to travel from wherever they are to go to Abuja to write, I think it's 1 day test of how many minutes, and it's supposed to be computer-based. We were to travel to go to Abuja. So when I saw that write-up, those people were asking the federal government to consider the risk of travel, knowing what's happening in Nigeria right now, with what is on ground, the level of insecurity, that they should consider the risk of traveling and make this exam, since it's already CBT, for them to write it from anywhere, from their zonal centers. But it seems that cry fell on deaf ears. That cry that these civil servants were crying, writing, pleading with the federal government to consider so many factors, especially insecurity, economic cost of traveling to Abuja and spending a night in an hotel. It's not as if anything is provided. You're not provided no allowance for transportation, allowance for accommodation. You're just on your own because you need to be promoted. And so you have to go to Abuja to write that exam. So when I read that write-up, I was like, okay, it touched me. But now let's read this news together so that you understand why I say this our government. It's high time people see, when you sit on your comfort zone and you're so relaxed, and when we talk about all these things, it look as if you're, it happens in a one very far away place. Because I know people in Lagos. How many of them do not understand what's happening. That's why some people are saying, Nigeria is not the way they are painting it. Nigeria is not the way the international community is not exactly the way they are painting it. It's not that bad. It's not that bad when people cannot travel from one place to the other. Let's read this news, because I think I need you to understand. Let's read this news. I'm going to start from the beginning. Let's scroll and start from the beginning. Okay? And it says here, husband cries out after his kidnapped wife was not released with Federal Ministry of Defense staff. This woman works with the Federal Ministry of Defense, and it goes this way. Husband cries out after kidnapped wife was not released with other freed Minister of Defense staff. The families of the two Minister of Defense staff who were not released with their kidnapped colleagues, have cried out while demanding answers. Recall that 6 female staff of the Ministry of Defense were kidnapped on November 9th at Kaba. They had been traveling from Lagos to Abuja for a Minister of Defense promotional exam when they were kidnapped. Hey, Kaba is somewhere in Kogi State, and these people, everybody knows the risk. Traveling to Abuja by road from anywhere, any part of Nigeria now is a big risk. Because that Kogi, you have to cross that Kogi, is a big risk. But these people, they do not have any trust. Many people go by air, but go and try to buy tickets. You will see your 1 month salary cannot buy tickets for you to travel to Abuja and go back to Lagos. Recall, according to their families, the women had boarded a bus owned by a transport company and Delis Motors Limited at First Gate, Festac, Lagos. The 6 kidnapped women's names were given as Mrs. Ngozi Ibeziako, Mrs. Catherine Essen, Mrs. Helen Ezako, Mrs. Iyela Doye, Mrs. Juliana Omuzurike, and Mrs. Chinwe Adeline Emeribe. After ransom was paid, 4 of the women were released, but 2, Mrs. Chinwe Adeline Emeribe and Mrs. Juliana Omuzurike, were not released. Husband cried out after his wife was blamed. Just describing how they were released, a Minister of Defense staff who chose not to be named stated that the kidnappers asked the ransom to be delivered by a driver. So a driver who works with the transport company that owns the bus the women were kidnapped in was chosen to deliver the ransom. He was told to return the women to the park in Festac where they initially took off. However, when he returned with an empty bus, the families present at the park asked questions, and he informed them that he dropped off each woman at their preferred bus stops close to their homes. He revealed that only 4 women were released to him. The Minister of Defense staff stated that since then, no information about the whereabouts of the remaining 2 women have been provided. He expressed his displeasure that the ministry was not doing enough to find the 2 missing women or to assist their families. The Ministry of Defense. Ministry of Defense. It's not Ministry of Market Women. Ministry of Defense does not understand the security implication of their staff traveling on road by road to Abuja. Do not understand the implication of going to just write 1-day test, computer-based test. These days, people sit everywhere in the country and do JAMB, do WAEC, do all sorts of exams, post-UTME exams, whatever exams, computer-based. Yet, Ministry of Defense. You see the country we have found ourselves in. You see the country, they can't provide security, and people are talking about it. They are downplaying the cry of the people by going out there to the international community to tell them that it's not as bad as that. The source further questioned why his colleagues were made to travel for the exam, which had recently been made to be computer-based, to allow for it to be written from anywhere so as to minimize risk to civil servants. He said that the initial plan for staff to take the exam from whichever state they were located. The initial plan was for staff to take the exam from whichever state they were located. However, shortly before the exam, they were suddenly informed that they had to travel to Abuja for the exam and were not given any extra stipend to aid their travel, he said. I read that post. I wish I can find it. I wish I knew this would happen. I would have kept it and shown. I read that write-up. I read it. Where they were writing and pleading. They would have taken flight if they were giving money, but they had to go by road because they were paying out of their pocket. How much is their pocket? Is the salary of a senior civil servant who is even level 14 or whatever. How much is their salary? How much? You now go and check flight tickets, going and return ticket from Lagos to Abuja. You will see. Okay. So this is Nigeria for you. This is Nigeria. That's what we're talking about. A government that cannot protect its citizens. You cannot support them. You don't even understand when people are crying out. It's as if the government is not in the country, that as if the government is living in another, as if these people, they are living in another world, as if they are not in Nigeria. Hi. Mr. Emeribe said his family reached out to the police at Festac to file a complaint after his wife and her colleague were not released with the rest of their colleagues. He explained that the police in Festac told them the case has been transferred to Panti. He said they visited Panti yesterday, November 26, but made no progress. According to him, the anti-kidnapping unit at Panti informed them that the bus company they boarded to Abuja sent a lawyer, and he gave and told them there was no suspects. Hey, this is another one. So the boss said, and he told them there was no suspects. There was no suspects. There's no suspects. The bus company knows these people. The bus company was the one to deliver the ransom. Why did they have to choose the bus company driver to go and be the one that would take the ransom to them? Why was the driver of the vehicle not also kidnapped? There are so many questions, but the police that are supposed to go into investigation, they have already concluded that there is no suspect because the company sent a lawyer. There's no suspect. As in, seriously? Oh, my dear. Mr. Mary expressed disappointment at that neither the Ministry of Defence, Command Secondary School Ojo, nor the union his wife and other staff belong to have offered any assistance or resources towards helping their cause. Mr. Mary told LIB Ministry of Defense where they work, nobody has heard anything from them. Nothing. They're not showing concern. They're not telling us anything. Since the incident occurred on November 9, we have not heard anything from them. Nobody's moved to search for these women. Even the union they belong to have nothing to say. What would they say? What would they say? When everybody is just fighting for themselves. In Nigeria, you provide your own security. If you think that your security is at stake, it's at risk, okay? If you think you're vulnerable to security threats, you provide your security, provide your road, okay? Where you live, you have to provide your road, your water. You just give yourself all the services that the government is supposed to provide. Just tell me what the government is doing for its citizens. Simple security of life and property is not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed at home. It's not guaranteed on the road. It's not guaranteed just anywhere. Yesterday, the video I showed you guys yesterday, where a truck loaded with ammunition, bullets, was being transported to somewhere in Maiduguri, right? Yeah, Zamfara State. Maiduguri, Zaria. Yeah, Zaria. Around ABU. This vehicle crossed through our border, so there's no security anywhere. What do we do? And people are still arguing. I'll keep saying it. If you are sitting at the comfort zone, these people that are in Lagos, especially people in Lagos, when I remember how they talk, people in Lagos, people in maybe Abuja now, because it's very close around there, people in Lagos, people in Port Harcourt, a lot of people, especially people in Lagos, they don't understand what's happening. That's why they were arguing here that Trump wants to come and take their oil. Look at, this is somebody's mother. This is somebody, look at a beautiful woman like this. Look at a beautiful woman like this. Can imagine her age. Can imagine the age of her children. Can imagine the husband. Is somebody's mother. Our people say, if God forbid, this will be her end, because she went to write the exam to be promoted. I mean, what kind of story? There's no kind of story you will not hear from this people where people, the government does not reason like, oh gosh. My people, it's sad. This is just a very sad one. I just pray, add my voice to pray that this woman will return safely. How can people, there's so many questions there to answer. Why was she not released? Why are her colleagues not talking? Her colleagues that were kidnapped with her, why are they not talking? What are they saying? Why are they not talking? They're not saying anything. Let me just leave it here. It seems that This matter is it's just getting on me. I feel so bad. I feel so bad. My call is that you join your voice, share this video, join your voice in any little way you can to cry out to the international community. Let them stop saying that it is not that bad. Nowhere is safe. We're talking about the genocide. Apart from that, the country needs total overhauling. Our governments and politicians are not doing anything. They're not doing anything. How can you expose your staff to this kind of risk? And they were crying. The write-up was so passionate. I saw the write-up. They were crying that they shouldn't be allowed to embark on this journey. I saw that thing. I wish I can find it and put it up here. Anyway, thank you so much for being with me till now. This is once again Inspiration Gist with Dora, where we discuss real life issues that affect us in our society. Please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so right now. Thank you so much. God bless you. And also like and drop your comment in the comment section. I'll see you again in my next video.